What's going on, guys? I'm about to give you the fucking secret. I'm about to imbue you and imprint this understanding. And once you understand this understanding, your whole entire life is going to change. Because once I understood this concept that I'm about to share with you, I went from working dead end jobs, 50 hours a week, busting my ass, to becoming a heart centered man, to embodying my real mission and purpose in this life, and shifting from the slavery system that we have, right? The hamster wheel that keeps us in perpetual motion going nowhere, a cog in the wheel. And it shifted me over into being heart centered, into my mission and purpose, so that I can give you guys beautiful value and content like I am right now. So let's just start by taking a deep breath in, connecting in with our body, tuning into our belly. Another deep breath in. Relaxing your belly, relaxing your chest. One more deep breath in, holding at the top, breathing all the way in. And hold right here. Hold the breath. And just feel, just tune into your body, tune into any tension in your belly or heart, and relax it down. Your shoulders dropping. And breathing all the way out. That, my friends, is the solution to all of your problems, right? Because when we have tension in our chest, tension in our belly, it's like having these balls of energy, these knots, these constrictions, these stings in our bodies, in our energetic system. And what happens is, in the same way when you kink a hose, right? Even if you have the hose on full blast, and the sexual energy is our life force, that's the water running through us. But we have so many kinks and knots and stagnations and these things that constrict our entire energetic system. And we have those things, and what happens is the energy that is supposed to be flowing through us, to nourish others, to be used to create with, this energy, because it's kinked up in our energetic systems due to shame, guilt, fear, anger, resentment, all these different emotions that we're going to be going into. Because there's tension in our bodies, it pools either in our cock or in our head. So for this video, I'm going to be telling you how to shift out of that and why this happens, how to know when you're stuck in your head and when you're stuck in your cock, okay? Because if you're stuck in this polarity, right, everything's black or white. When you're stuck in your head, the first sign to look for when you're stuck in your head is you're defensive. You have to be right. If you're not right, then no, you get angry, you get frustrated, or you completely shut down and collapse. Because when we're stuck on our heads and we're not in our heart, when we're stuck in our heads and not in our hearts, we can't empathize with people. We can't step into their shoes for a moment. Stepping into my reality. Come step into my reality for a moment. And recognize that whenever someone in front of you is trying to be right, or they have a different perspective, or they're even triggered, or they're yelling at you, even if someone's yelling at you, that has nothing to do with you. You may have triggered or elicited something within their experience. You may have made them feel hurt or jealous or angry or sad, but that is their trigger. And if you think for any period of time that has something to do with you, or has something to do with your value, or has to do with your responsibility, and my friend, you're mistaken, okay? Because your inability to see things from their perspective, being stuck in your head, is keeping you defensive. It's keeping your heart locked down and kinked up, tied up, knotted up. And when your heart is knotted up like that, you can't connect with people. So when we're stuck on our heads, the first thing to notice is, am I defensive? Am I being defensive right now? If you're being defensive, you're not in your heart. Okay? Literally letting the armor off of your heart now. Take the armor off. Because that armor that was your protection mechanism and safety mechanism as a child, right? It's your cocoon of safety, is now your cage. And that cage, that cocoon, it can either be your deathbed, it can either be the way that you live your life for the rest of your life, right? Sad, hurt, alone, feeling afraid. Or you can take a deep breath in and cast off that cocoon, that shell, those old defense mechanisms, because they're no longer serving you, and there's better ways to do things, okay? I'm going to show you better ways to do things, how to connect, how to get the things and the needs that you really needed to have had when you were young. We're going to show you how to do that with these different heart opening exercises. But if you find yourself stuck in your head, you're going to be defensive. And when you're defensive, you lash out or you turtle up in cocoon, and it takes you away from someone else. When someone's upset or frustrated or sad, they don't need you to be right. They don't need you to be defensive. They don't need to be attacked. What they need is for you to love them. If you can open your heart, what happens, this is how hearts work. Okay? I'm going to show you right now. This is how hearts work so you understand in your unconscious now. Hearts are like valves, right? Talking about water hoses and energy running through. If you have two closed hearts, there's no energy going in or out, right? Makes sense? Now, if one heart opens, let's say this is you, and your heart begins to open. Whoever you were in a disagreement with or hurt by, or you hurt, what happens is they may attack you. And if you close your heart, now you're two hearts doing this, afraid of each other. But if you remain open, no matter what, that light, that love that's inside of your heart is going to radiate outwards like the sun. And their heart, just like a piece of ice left in the sun, is going to start to melt and shift. And it'll be like, oh, wait, is it safe? And then if you continue showering their heart with love, eventually their heart's going to open up, and you guys are going to be able to give and receive love. Because one thing that I've learned from one of my mentors is that the person with the most open heart is the giver. Okay, my friends? When your heart's more open, energy is naturally going to be moving from you to other people, because energy is moving through you now, right? And because you have an access to infinite source of love and energy, because breath is love, your sexual energy is love, your cells in your body all love you. When you have access to that love, you can give from a place of infinity. Not to say your body doesn't have needs, and sometimes you need to take space for yourself to connect and create love, self-love, so you can generate more. But if there are people around you and you start to generate more love and open your heart, take away those defenses now, you're going to see them start to open up their hearts. But if we're stuck in our heads and we need to be right, we need to be protected and safe, because, oh no, what if that person rejects me? Oh no, if I'm not right, then I won't get love, right? Because it reminds me of when I was a child. If we're stuck in our head, in this pole, and no energy is coming up or down, we're disconnected from our hearts, and we're actually hurting other people. Not only are we hurting ourselves, but we're hurting other people, because so many people out there just need love, and we're just re-traumatizing people if we're stuck on our heads. Because when we're stuck on our heads, we can't feel people. It's like if you were barefoot and you stepped on someone's foot, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I love you. Right? But what we're doing, because we have all this armor around our heart, we have steel-toed boots on, and we're slamming on people's toes left and right, and we don't even notice. And when people say, hey, ouch, look, you just hurt my foot, you just hurt my toe, right? When they say that, we're like, fuck you, bitch. No, you're hurting me. And then you make it about yourself, right? Because you're in your head, and you lose connection with the other person, and you go into your own mind and it's ego, and it's me, and it's all about me, and oh, that person, and then you start gossiping, and you start doing all these things, right? You're stuck in the past or in the future. You're fantasizing all these different scenarios that aren't very loving, right? When we do that, when we step on someone's toe, it's okay. It's all right. You apologize and then you feel with them, look, I'm sorry. How do we make sure this never happens again? That's how we move from our head down to our heart, taking responsibility for when we hurt people, understanding when we hurt people, feeling them in their experience, validating their experience. I'm sorry that I hurt you, my friend. I see your hurt. I feel your hurt. I've been hurt like that in the past before. What can we do to be solution oriented so that we never have this happen again? Because I don't want to step on your toes and I don't want you to step on my toes. Right? So take a deep breath in and out. And that's how we move from our head down to our heart. But how do we move from our cock to our heart? Right? Now you know when energy's pooling up in your nether regions. You know when you can't control your desires. You know when you can't put down the cookie. You know when you can't stop eating or ordering Uber Eats. That was one of my issues. You know when you have to have sex, or you know when you have to go masturbate and watch porn, or smoke that joint, or drink that beer. When we have energy pulled up in our cocks or our lower extremities, the part of us that needs nourishment and sustenance to stay alive, to feel safe, right? We need food, water, shelter, and connection. If we don't have those things, those basic human needs, we are going to find all the ways to meet those. Those are things that we always find food, we always find water, we always find shelter, and we always connect with someone. Now, whether we meet those needs in a positive light or a negative light, our unconscious mind doesn't care, right? If you need to feel connection because you feel rejected, abandoned, and alone, well, one of the strategies is eat a lot of sugary food. A lot of food in high fat content and high sugar content. Guess what it reminds our unconscious mind of? Mother's milk, right? It reminds our body of feeling loved and connected when we were young. And especially if we didn't get that, we may crave those things later on. What happens when we crave and desire porn, right? A need for connection. I need to feel loved. That's what we really want when we're having sex. Yeah, sex feels great. There's a 3-second, right? That's what most guys are trained for, 3 seconds of pleasure, and then you fall asleep. You guys, that's not it. I'm going to talk to you about that more in a later video. So take a deep breath. Recognizing when energy pools up in your cock or your lower extremities when you're needing something. Your desires run the show. You lose your rational mind. You lose your ability to function as a rational human being, and you just seek something to get your needs met. Now, if we can bring awareness of our needs up here, start to connect the circuit now in your own body. What is it you're needing when you're reaching for the nachos? What is it you're needing when you're calling up that girl at 3 a.m.? What is it you're needing when you are smoking weed? I used to have a big weed problem, right? I used to smoke every single day. What I was needing is relaxation. Guess what? It's a lot easier to do that than to meditate for an hour. So I went for the easy fix because I had a need and the desire was to relax. The desire was to disconnect from my heart and my emotions because I felt overwhelmed. I felt like I had so much to do and wasn't doing it. Guess what? Weed doesn't help that, right? So when we have all these desires and have to act on the impulse, it is a very self-destructive loop when we're stuck in our head, when we get defensive and we have to analyze everything we're not feeling, and then we're stuck in our lower extremity, the bipolar swing, right? We get defensive, we pull back, or we lash out and attack and push people away, and then guess what? Our needs can't be met from that area, so then we have needs and we act on impulsive desires. And when you act on impulsive desires, my friend, you are not living a conscious life. Your life is being run by your shadows. You're literally being pulled like a puppet by your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind is literally telling you what to do. We think we have freedom. We think we have freedom of choice. But we don't, right? The best that we can do is to cultivate awareness of our unconscious shadows and those desires and our natural tendencies and patterns from childhood, and then using the skills and the tools that I'm going to show you, we can start to shift and mold those patterns so that we're running on autopilot. We're always running on autopilot, right? But whether we're running on autopilot off the edge of a cliff or running on autopilot towards our dream destination, our dream life, the relationships we want, the connection we seek, our heart-centeredness, right? We get to mold and choose, but if you don't have the tools to mold like a sculptor molding clay, then we are set on this default path towards destruction, towards ego, towards take energy and manipulation, right? So take a deep breath in and recognize that you, my friend, have a choice to become a heart-centered man right now, because the heart is the mediator between the head and the balls. If you have tension in your body, in your throat, constricted with your truth, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to feel your heart. If you have tension in your heart because of grief, fear, pain, right? Loss, a lot of those sadness things right here that draw a wall around our heart, you're not going to be able to connect the two poles. And if you have shame, guilt, resentment, anger trapped in your belly, all that tension is going to make it so you can't connect your sexual energy to your heart. And when you can't connect your sexual energy to your heart, guess what? You need to jerk off all the time and deplete your life force energy. You need to have meaningless sex, right? Because it's an escape mechanism from the pain, right? And we need to connect with human beings, even if it's detrimental to our health, right? You're willing to get connection over loving yourself, right? So when you understand this, when you let go of the tension in your body and connect the two poles, you stop swinging from like, oh yeah, I'm so happy, to, oh, I hate my life. Oh yeah, this is exciting. Oh, I hate my life. Oh, weekend, yeah, let's get party and get drunk. And oh, now I feel like shit on Monday morning. You stop having those bipolar swings between your head and your cock, and you start to meet in the middle and in your heart by taking a deep breath in. And the more you practice letting go of the tension in your body, the more emotions are going to rise up. The more emotions you clear from your past, right? The more space you're going to have for love. It's like taking the couch out of your living room that's old from childhood. It's old, it's moldy, it's cut up, it's dirty, it's dusty. The old big box TV is like broken and smashed, and the paint's peeling off the walls. When you can pull all that stuff out and throw it out, you sweep up, you mop, you paint the walls, and then the universe delivers your new life to you. When you let go of the old tension and you pull it up out of your belly, out of your heart, out of your throat, and you let all that stuff, throw it out by the curb now, when you can do that, the universe is waiting outside. It's got a U-Haul filled with stuff that's yours now, that's in alignment with you. It's been trying to give you all of the things that you desire in your life for a very long time, my friend. The universe has been trying to give it to you, but you've been resisting it because you have tension. Because in the past, when the universe tried to give you love, maybe your parents were giving you love, but it was mixed in with manipulation or pain or sadness or loss or grief. So you're afraid of love because of the things that were associated with it when you were younger. But my friend, that's not love. You can throw that stuff out and just keep the love. And when you start to love yourself, you start to open those passageways in your body. It's a process. I've gone through it. Sometimes it sucks, and it's okay. When you start to allow energy to come up from your root, from your base, which I'm going to show you, and move into your heart center, and from your heart center flow out into the world through your truth, like I'm doing right now. I'm only able to speak here and be on camera because I've opened my voice. I was afraid to be heard. I was afraid to be wrong. I was afraid to fail, because if I was wrong or failed, then I wouldn't get love. So when you open that, it comes out, and then it connects to your higher vision, your third eye, your intuition, the vision that you're birthing into the universe right now, right? Because without your sexual creative energy, your vision has no juice. And without your vision, your sexual energy and desire is fucking spraying everywhere, pun intended, right? So when you can cultivate that sexual energy, process it through the heart center, fill that sexual energy with love, pass it through your truth, and bring it up to your higher vision of what you want for your life, what you want to create and manifest in this life, then you, my friend, have become a heart-centered man. And your life is going to exponentially, radically shift for the better and the highest good according to the divine will unfolding. Right? Sometimes we want a mansion and $1 million. Well, maybe that's not your karma. Maybe that's not your lesson for this lifetime. Right? So taking a deep breath in, letting these concepts just settle, solidify, and just see if you can tune into your heart, tune into your belly and your throat, and just begin to relax down and release that tension as you move on to the next video in this course.